Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Isle of Man in the UK. This is John and Mike's MMA Corner.
Aljamain Sterling, thank you for your time again. It's always awesome to have someone who I think is a future champion on, because it's great to see you strive, especially with your win over Johnny Eduardo. It was put down as a guillotine choke, but I want to name it as a deadlift guillotine choke, because you lifted that dude in the air.
Oh man, it was nasty.
That was nasty. I saw it and I was like, yeah, I've had chokes on, but that just looked horrendous. Man, but hey man, that was a great performance. I want to talk quickly about that fight. You know, the switching of the stances, your variation in the strikes that you were throwing just really put him. You could see Johnny Eduardo was put off. He had no rhythm because your variations were just throwing him away. He just couldn't calculate what to do with you. And was that something particularly that you worked on with Johnny Eduardo?
Yeah, I mean, we worked on that a lot with the coaches. That was just part of the game plan, and I was just happy we got to implement it because, I mean, I talked about it a little bit before. It was definitely the more nerve-wracking moments in the back room that I've ever had, and I think it was, in all due honesty, it was just, I had a lot of respect for Johnny Eduardo, even though I did talk a lot of shit going into that fight. But realistically, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I want to get you hyped up. I want to get you excited to want to have the fight. I want us to both be the best guys that we could both be when we do step in there. Yeah. So for me to kind of get you riled up and want to train hard to fight me, I'm doing the same thing because now I got to back it up. Yeah. That's the way I'm coming at it. So. Yeah, I was really surprised. I was like, man, this guy's going to look to try to take my head off. That's all I was thinking. I was just, I got to make sure I follow the game plan. And I kind of freaked out a little bit in the back, but I got it together. And as I made the walk down there, I just remembered all the things we did in training camp. And I kept telling myself, just like sparring, another day in the office, go out there and just have fun and get it done.
And it worked very well. Now, you then went on after the fight to talk politely and very nicely to Mr. Caraway to negotiate a bout with him, and it's something I feel like it was almost it was inevitable that you two had to fight each other in a way. The way the rankings were working, I thought it made sense. It never felt like from his side that he was super keen for the fight or wanted it. He doesn't seem like one of those guys that just calls for a fight. He just sits there and waits. You would just literally you grabbed the opportunity by the scruff of the neck and you said, I wanted to smash him, get him out of the way. When it finally got the chance, were you made up the fact that he said yes?
I was actually really shocked. I told the UFC, I said, listen man, I told Shelby, please have Michael McDonald on standby because I have a strong feeling he's going to pull out of this fight and I'm ready to fight either one of those guys. I think it's the perfect matchup, either one of them. Not even a perfect matchup, just a good matchup. Yeah. I think they're just both good fights. So I was actually really surprised that he took the fight. So I was actually really happy that he took the fight. One for me is it's about the challenge. I don't think Caraway is keen on challenging himself. I think he likes to take the easier fights. You call out a guy who hasn't fought in 18 months in Michael McDonald, and then you don't get that fight, but then that's the fight he wanted after Eddie Wineland, who was out for just about 2 years with a broken jaw. He pretty much pulled him out of retirement, pulled the poor guy out of retirement to have a fight with a guy who pretty much didn't really want to fight. And I think it showed in that fight that they had. And I guess there's any way to pump himself up and look good. I think that's just my honest opinion. And it is what it is, man. You know, that's the way he wants to go about his career. And that's why I get off saying, like, you live in your girlfriend's shadows because you don't take tough fights. You don't take chances. I don't know. Well, it's frustrating, but you know, I think that's what separates the difference between the boys and the men, and he's definitely one of the boys at this point.
And the 135 division now has got a hell of a group of fights at the moment. Obviously, on your card anyway, you've got your fight, and you've got the Almeida Garbrandt fight. Then you've obviously got the title fight with Cruz and Faber. Then you've got Dillashaw and Asuncao, and then you've got McDonald's being booked in to fight. Who the fuck's he been booked in to fight as well?
John Lineker.
There you go, John Lineker. That's it. There you go. So like, There's just absolute awesome fights to be made. Suddenly the bantamweight division is taking the limelight from other divisions. It's just a collective of great fights. Do you feel, though, that slight bit of pressure, though, that you've got to put on... I see, getting a finish would probably be a big thing to help get you that title shot. Because of all the other great fights that are there, you'd have to stand out above these fights.
100%, absolutely. That's what I strive to do, man. I can't remember one fight where I had a full training camp and I didn't finish the guy. I mean, the one fight I had with Sean Santella, and that was when I was training. I was taking fights like 4 or 5 weeks in advance. I was taking a lot of fights on short notice, although I was training. But to have a full training camp is just night and day when you're specifically training for a certain style and certain looks and possibilities. It's just completely different.
Matt Serra must have licked his lips, mate, at this. When he got Caraway, Matt Serra must have licked his lips. Cause, yeah, he must have just... be Christmas Day to him, this.
Yeah. And Matt's highly... he speaks very highly of my jiu-jitsu, which, I'm always... It's always nice to hear good things from people, but when it comes from a guy like that, it means a lot more, So... I'm just excited to see what I can do against another top grappler, and that's really what it comes down to. It's more about, for me, it's more about the challenge, and Caraway's a tough challenge. He's been top 10 for a long time. He's beaten some of the best guys in the division, and if he hasn't been finished, and he's been neck and neck with them, like Mizukaki. Yeah. But he's got a bunch of, I think most of his wins, his last few wins have been finishes outside of Weiland and his loss to a Sunsao. But I think there's a difference between Caraway and the elite guys, and I just think he just comes up short when it comes to those big-time matchups, and I think that's the difference between me and him. That would be the telltale of the fight. I think I rise to the occasion where he just goes through the motions.
Well, look, that's the thing you got to think, is the momentum of, obviously, his partner, Miesha Tate, winning the title going to maybe give him a bit of confidence going into the fight, and if that does that spur you a little bit as well when you think, oh, good, I want him to have that bit of confidence because I want to see the best Caraway, because then when I get the win, you get more out of that win, so to speak?
Yeah, I want to fight the best guy. That's the whole thing behind this pumping the fight up, talking shit. I don't want this guy to come in and be like, oh, it's just a grappler kind of guy. I want this to mean something to him. I want him to wake up and think, I better be training my ass off because I know this kid is training for real. And I am. I'm not taking his grappling lightly whatsoever. People have been saying, like, oh, it's an easy fight, you're definitely going to win. I'm like, bro, this is a lot tougher fight than people have realized. And I'm definitely not taking it lightly. So I'm excited about it. And I'm working very diligently on certain situations and specific things that he does well and things that I do well so I can capitalize when we get into the octagon.
As long as he avoids the fish, avoid the fish hooks.
No fish hooks.
No fish hooks allowed. Well, that's the thing. He has got very good grappling, but your management of distance in the stand-up is something I think that's his problem. He's going to have to overcome, because you have a very good management of that. Keeping the range to your game. Especially in the Johnny Eduardo fight, you could see it in that fight particularly well. Do you think? I think that's going to be the key part of the game, because if he can't get that gap closed down to where he wants it to get down to the ground, where he feels is his stronger game, it's going to be a long 3 rounds really for him, isn't it?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that's definitely one of my strong points in managing the distance, and I don't box a lot in terms of my fights. I mean, I do a ton when I'm sparring and stuff. But when it comes to the actual fight, I've never had to actually engage in getting that close to my opponents, because they just, for some reason, most guys just can't seem to get past my feet arms, is what I like to call them. And, I'm excited, man. This is gonna be fun. My coach was telling me, sometimes I get a little frustrated because I feel like I don't throw as many punches as I want to, and I won't open up. But it's one of those things where I think it's more so wanting to do that. I box more when I have the big gloves on. When I have the small gloves on, I don't box as much. Yep. And my coach says, Longo always says, it's like, he said, well, to land that knockout punch, you have to be in range to get a knockout punch landed on you as well. Yeah. So which makes a lot. I think that's probably what it is in terms of the way I'm approaching the game, the way I'm looking at it. So it's kind of like probably why I tailor towards doing the things that I'm more comfortable doing instead of going outside of my realm. Cause I never really had to, but when I have to, I know I could do it. It's just more so me wanting to willingly go in there and just exchange with somebody.
I was gonna say, he's been a smart fighter. That's the thing. Like, you're not going to sit there and just be like rock and sock him. Like you said, that's not smart. That's not being a smart fighter. It is the simple equation of hit and not be hit, and that's something that people, they're starting to get that. But at the same time, it's having that. The angles is a big key. When you're cutting your angles and just basically throwing, and they're punching thin air, that's a huge thing that a lot of fighters, I think, still don't use to this day. They're very lateral, forwards and backwards. They're not, when they finish the combinations, they're not going off slightly to the side. They're staying in line with those kind of counter strikes, and I still don't understand why they do it. I don't know why people aren't drilling those simple things to get out of the way.
Yeah, ring control for me is huge. I do a ton of footwork drills. Like, people ask me about stuff like what I do for training. I don't think it's not much that you need to do. I mean, you do need to understand the arts, but when it comes to a fight, the idea of the fight, what the fight entails, what are you good at? What is your opponent good at? How can you get the fight where you want to be? And are you mentally tough enough to go through the rounds to get there, to get that win? And I think that's ultimately what it comes down to. Yeah. And I think so far so good, man. I think for right now, I feel like I'm ready to go. I'm ready to rock. Even if Bryan Caraway gets his best position, which is back control, I feel 100% confident there, unless he fish hooks me. But I'm confident there. I've got some of the best training partners in the world to go in terms of jiu-jitsu, world-class guys.
I would not want to roll with Matt Serra. I would not want to. Like, when I met him, I couldn't get my head around the size of his forearms. They were like my thigh, and I just couldn't imagine that grip. Him grabbing me, I'd probably just rock in a corner and just cry. No, I'm all right. You're in perfectly good hands with Matt Serra doing that.
Matt's awesome, man. He's a don. He's cool as hell, man.
Oh, when he got tasered,
everything is just it's unreal.
When he got tasered on the looking for a fighter, did that make you laugh a little bit? Have you seen it when he got tasered, him and Dana and Nick Tooth?
Yeah, he showed us the clip of it.
Yeah. I'm loving that series. I'm loving it. You know what? I'm gutted there's only a few of them every now and then, but Matt is just fucking hilarious. Oh, man, he's so good. He just cracks me up. Some of the stuff, oh, man. Especially because Nick Tooth's so good at, like, the wakeboarding, and Matt Serra's just got zero. Just can't do it. Keeps going in the water. It's awesome, mate. It's good to see that stuff. And like you say, he's like that. Training and the way he gives that information when he goes to the fighters after some of the fights, he sees them do something wrong in jiu-jitsu and just wants to tell them. You can just see the kind of coach he is anyway. He's a caring coach, and that's something that I think is going to set. That's why you've got the confidence when you go to fight Bryan Caraway, because he's giving you so much information. You feel there's nothing Bryan can offer that you don't know already.
Exactly, and that's what he pretty much breaks it down to. He's just like, for instance, just go, if this so-and-so comes down on a Tuesday night, how do you think they're going to do in this room? They're going to get eaten up alive kind of thing. And it makes you laugh. It's funny, but it's just like, he's telling the truth, man. These guys that we're rolling with, these guys are good, and I'm competing with these guys. These guys are brown belts. These guys are black belts. And if I'm staying out of trouble with these guys, I'm getting submissions on these guys, and I'm dominating position, dominating control, or when they get certain positions and I'm getting out, it definitely boosts your confidence. I'm like, Caraway's down in Las Vegas right now, Sin City, training with who? This kind of reminds me of Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor, and Nate kept telling him, he's just like, who the hell are your training partners, bro? Like, you have no training partners. I'm training with the top guys in the world, and he's not lying. And I think it showed. Like, once he got past the blitz and the cardio of Conor McGregor, and he started landing his shots, that fight, the complexion of that fight just changed completely. And I think it's going to be a similar thing. The young lion versus the old veteran.
Look, I said it. I've said it for a long time, Aljamain. I've said that you've literally got the kind of pathway to the title. I can just, and obviously 2016. I've said it last year. I've said it for a long time to people I knew and just in general conversations with people. I truly believe, Aljamain, this year you're going to be getting a shot at that strap. You know, it's for me, it's just an inevitability.
I hope so, man. I'm super excited about it. I definitely think it can happen for sure. Just depending on, I think just based on the entire division, it's something that could eventually just kind of leapfrog. And man, for me to be challenging for the title in New York would be a lot bigger than at a Sunset in New York or something like that. You know, it's just like
it'd be awesome.
Business.
Chris Weidman, you, New York City, 2 straps on the line. It would just It's almost like it has to happen, you know. It's
the return of Raging Al.
Yes. Oh, I love Al Quinta. Oh, that dude is fucking. Oh, he's awesome. And he, like, everyone who boos, fuck you, everyone.
Best guy.
Yeah, he's the best. I love him. Yeah, because you two are doing your video again, aren't you? Aren't you just getting it back up and going again?
Yeah. Al's Breakdown. We're back.
Yeah, you're back. Yeah, see, I see. I keep an eye. I'm watching. I will push that whenever it comes out. I look, you two are awesome when you do your things together. Anyway, but I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, UFC Fight Pass. It's the Fight Pass prelim feature bout is yourself and Caraway. If you haven't got Fight Pass, I will want to kick you in the dick. But get Fight Pass, people. It's awesome. Fight Pass is my girlfriend. It's my full-time relationship that I have. Tune in, watch Aljamain. He's going to be fucking rocking a badass haircut with a big Goldie chain probably as well.
I'm trying to get one from Mad Ray. I'm trying to get one from my entire corner.
Just all come out with big chains. I would love that. That'd be hilarious.
It would be hysterical.
What about, look, before I let you shoot off, man, because I know you've got to go get practice, what's your social media for everyone to jump onto, man, and give you a follow?
You guys can follow me at Funkmaster_UFC on Instagram and on the Twitter, Funkmaster_UFC. And you guys can also check out my website, AljamainSterling.com. I actually just launched a new brand. It's called Island Boy. So it's a clash between Long Island and all my island natives. My parents are from Jamaica, so it's something that kind of sticks out to me, and it's gonna be a lot cooler than some of the stuff we wear for our fights. I won't say the names of the brands, but I will say it's gonna be a lot cooler. It's gonna be a lot cooler. So if you want to support me, you guys can support me that way. It's a lot cheaper.
I'll put the link, ladies and gentlemen, on the comment section below for the website as well, all that stuff. So you can all click on, give him a follow on this, on all that bits. Aljamain, as always, pleasure, absolute gentleman, great talking to you, and again, have a fucking awesome weekend, man, and have a great camp finish to your camp, and again, wish Chris Weidman a super duper speedy recovery.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And that's the record.